I stopped painting business and started doing sculpture. Well, I wasn't as if I was. I found modelling with clay and that kind of thing when I was a young fella quite an easy and happy sort of thing to be doing. And I had a fairly good idea of anatomy, etc., and retained it. I absorbed it in a very early stage, possibly from drawing cowboys from the comics. But drawing from the model was from figured in every time I could get the opportunity to do so. When in Dublin, when I got back from England, we set up a little group of fellow artists who wanted to work with the figure, and we used each other in rotation. You know, Charlie Cullen, James McKenna. The series of sculptures that I was doing, it was very nice to be doing portraits, but one of the most difficult ones, I suppose, but the one that I actually liked a great deal is self-portrait. But doing a self-portrait is an extraordinary thing, because I didn't do drawings of myself and then do it from the drawings. I did it from looking in the mirror, but to get the back of your head is not an easy thing to do. Another thing I used to say at the time, it was a portrait of myself and my father. The father's ears were bigger than mine. If you can draw, you can sculpt. If you draw, particularly when drawing, they don't sit. They are allowed to move if they feel that way inclined. And if I were doing, for instance, from the figure, if it was, I'd move around the figure if the figure was going to sit still. For instance, if I've done a few life drawing classes, and what I would do with them is, I would say if there was two models, they'd walk in a circle. The two of them walk in a circle, not together necessarily, and the students would be sitting around the circle. The boy who's doing the drawing can say, stop. And they stop. Well, they both stop, you see. You count up to 10 seconds, then they start off again. So the idea is that either you try to keep on getting the same pot on the one drawing, or else you do a series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. So the one way of learning how to draw really is on the hop. For instance, when I was working in London, I would, when I was down and out, I mean, I'm not joking, when I was down and out in London, I always carried around a pad and that kind of thing, and I'd be drawing on the hop. You see, if you're working in a studio and you start doing something else like carving or even etching or something like that, that if you don't have a large room in which to work, this particular method of working takes over the studio. So you either do that and stop the other activities. And in my case, if I was doing sculpture and I wanted to still work on paper, the work on paper was reduced to small pads and pencils or pens, and that's how I got to started doing it out of the head. The idea was that I would be doing these drawings, putting all of the strange figures together and so on and so on. The idea of making sculptures. But that didn't happen. I didn't go into it that far again, because you'd have to set up a completely new situation. So I went back to the painting again after that.